Andy, a 1-1 draw against a team that are fighting a relegation battle. What's your thoughts after that one?
I looked at the fixtures, obviously 3 games in 8 days, so it's what that looks like, and we played obviously Bromsgrove and played really well this week. Then when we went into the week, I realised that Bedford's game got cancelled on the Saturday, so we played on Tuesday night. They looked fresh and sharp in the first half. We obviously went there, got the job done, and then the motorway was closed, so we ended up getting back, some of us at like 2 in the morning. So when I looked at the Kings Langley game, I looked and said, well, Kings Langley have played in the week, so we played 3 games in 8 days effectively, and 2 of them teams have missed games. So because they can go full tilt, that obviously, that sort of, I can put this now, takes its toll if you like. So I knew that sort of be a test, them 3 games in 8 days, because of where we are in the season. So the first half I thought today was excellent. Thought that the game could have been done in the first half if we would have took a few more chances. Final shot or final pass, but we created them chances, which is really positive. If you would have told me last week that we're going to get 7 points in 3 games, concede 1 and score 7, I would have took that obviously. So I'm really, really pleased, and obviously with the boys' application, was we a bit leggy at the end? Yeah. We've had 2 injuries from Tuesday night in Isaiah and Kane Richards, so we've had to make sure that we rest them and manage them appropriately at this time of the year. So we've had lads come back in who Jeremy Gunner played for 5 games because the team's been doing well, and so obviously because of that he blew up sort of at the end, but he managed himself quite well and did really well, I thought, for the majority of the game. So I was happy with the sort of first half performance, and I was happy with some of the character that we showed late on, because we've managed to get the point, and that point's obviously, as it's transpired, is that's got us in the playoffs. And for me, that's a good starting point for the club from where they was last year in the relegation fight at this time of the year, and to make that turnaround, I think that goes credit to the players in that changing room.
Yeah, you've touched on my next point there. You mentioned about the point of the season that we're at. We've just had confirmation that we're definitely guaranteed a playoff spot this season, and of course this time last year we were talking about whether or not we'd be in this league next season at the other end. What's your thoughts on that point?
Obviously I know that Nuneaton's a big football club. We just got to look at the surroundings around us, and the fan base are large numbers, which is really good, but I think you've just got to have that sort of realism sometimes of where the club started from in terms of last year or the last couple of years, and take that and say, okay, what's your objective? We all want to do well, but then to sort of set an objective out, and we knew what the objective was for us as a club, and I think that sometimes you've got to reflect and say, wait a minute, the team's done really, really well. The players in that changing room and the staff have done really, really well to take the club from fighting relegation, staying up, and then securing the playoffs. And what we've got to do now is quickly re-evaluate what that looks like and say, okay, the next objective, we all understand what that is, and focus it on that. So I'm tremendously proud of the players in there, and the staff around us, and the backing that we've had from the fans, because I think it's been a productive season, and we still haven't finished it in terms of wanting to finish as high as possible, having that sort of desire to be the best we can be. And I'm thinking of the feeling today, and I just told that the boys, this time last year we still weren't safe. I remember going into the last game of the season, it was 2 days before the last game of the season, and we didn't know. So to turn it around and be here today, I think it's a tremendous achievement, and that's testament to the people that we have at this football club now.
Yeah, you mentioned there about the desire to finish as high up in the table. Of course, we are guaranteed a playoff spot, and we've got Mikel over as well coming up on Monday. Is that a point where you're going to maybe rest a couple more players and look for the long term over the next 3 games, or are you looking to still carry on that?
Hey, listen, lads at this football club have given loads this year. Some of them have played on injury, and I look and think that we want to keep that momentum. That's really important. At the same time, having 4 games in 9 days at non-league when lads are working full-time is a real big ask. So I think you've got to be mindful of that and manage the bodies correctly in terms of what we do. But I think our squad's really good, and I think that they've generated a little bit of momentum. People say we're not scoring enough goals, and we know that as a club you want to score loads of goals, don't you? So it's an obvious, but at the same time we've got to understand that you've got to have a foundation, and also where we are at the moment in terms of the legs, that it's not always that easy to do that. So, but since we've had sort of new additions, and that's been helped by the crowd fund and the fans coming to the games. That sort of helped the club and sort of give us that sort of extra energy, if you like. And we've seen that on the pitch, obviously, with 7 goals in 3 games and the good performance from them players. So we will be trying to finish and keep that momentum and finish as high as possible, but at the same time we've got to manage players so that we don't pick up a long-term injury what could put a lot up for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you touched there upon like managing bodies, and of course we saw Ryan Beswick and Scott McManus pulling up there towards the end. Is there any updates on those two?
I think they're both. It's both tightness. I think if you look at Bez's contribution and Scott's contribution recently, it's been really, really good. I think we've conceded 1 goal in 3 games, and that's 3 goals in 6 games, and 2 of them have been set pieces. So I think that type of stuff you've got to look and say the way they play the game, in terms of the way they're on their sleeves, and they give everything for the football club. So with them two, I think it's important to evaluate with the medical team of where they're at, and then what we'll do is we'll assess that and see if they're okay or they're not okay, and then make that judgment maybe tomorrow or Monday morning.
Well, Andy, thank you for your time, and congratulations on the point.
No worries, thank you, appreciate it.